Welcome back. You're still watching Network Africa on Channels Television. After leading weeks of protests against fees hike, outsourcing and related issues last year, students of the university at Wits Watersrand have kicked off a fundraising campaign called #Access, and that aims to raise a staggering 10 million rand. The campaign is aimed at covering the debt of students who form part of the missing middle. The missing middle are a category of students referred to as being too poor to be rich and too rich to be poor. They're students who do not meet the criteria for scholarship funding, yet cannot afford to pay their fees on their own. The president of Wits Students' Union explains what #Access is all about.
We launched the #Access campaign, which essentially aims to raise 10 million to assist students of the missing middle to clear their debt in order for them to register. These are children of nurses, children of policemen who are not poor enough to be on NSFAS, yet not rich enough to afford their fees without assistance. And we are launching this campaign to assist them to clear their debts in order for them to register for the year 2016. Our deadline is the 29th of February, and we're challenging corporates. Right now, Nedbank has given us 2.2 million, and we have another sponsor gave us 600,000. So we're still on 2.6 million, and our target is 10 million. And this is all to ensure that students of the missing middle are assisted. So we're challenging corporates, banks, to all come head to head and pledge whatever they can pledge. We're challenging society at large, faith-based organizations, artists, individuals, black business to come to the part in terms of assisting us with this. We have other initiatives on campus like Double Up, which speaks about filling up a huge jar with whatever donations or pledges you can.
To other matters now, prosecution lawyers in Burundi have appealed against the verdicts given against leaders of a failed coup, demanding all should face life sentences. Reports also suggest that a list of 34 exiled opposition chiefs, civil society leaders and journalists whom they want to put on trial for their alleged role in the May 2015 coup bid. The appeal comes after they appeared in court last month and jailed 21 men for their role in the coup, sentencing the former defense minister Cyril Ndairukier and 3 ex-generals to life in prison. And we also understand that there were some other attacks which took place this morning, leaving about 4 people dead. At this point, we're going to bring you some highlights of Burundi this week, as we've been doing recently. This week, we understand that 2 teenagers have been murdered. We also understand that the African Union has rejected the UN troops. That's the 5,000-strong UN troops. We also understand that President Nkurunziza has still refused to engage in dialogue. Activists and journalists have gone on exile to Kenya, Rwanda, and Belgium. Coup plotters could actually get a life sentence, and a grenade blast killed 4 people, or injured 4 people, I should say, this morning. But for more on what's going on in Burundi, we go live to Utah, where Professor John Mbaku, who is a non-resident senior fellow at the Brookings Institute and a professor of economics at Weber State University, is standing by. Professor Mbaku, thank you very much for joining us on Network Africa.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Now, I'm going to hit the nail on the head at this point. Based on what analysts are saying, we understand that the AU has failed Burundi. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with that assessment. I believe that the AU, by simply standing on the sidelines, is doing Burundi and the rest of Africa significant damage. The UN visiting team, civil society groups in Burundi, and other observers have indicated that the situation in Burundi is deteriorating and that immediate action is needed. Unfortunately, the African Union has decided not to take the kind of action that is really needed to make sure that the killings that are taking place in Burundi, the forced exile of people from Burundi, those things do not continue to occur.
Yes. But Professor, yes. Can Burundi actually cater for itself? Because right now it seems to be shutting every kind of help out that's coming from the international community. So how can Burundi actually fix itself, seeing that it's rejecting this help?
So obviously, based on what we know, especially given the fact that the UN visiting team that was there last week, when it presented its report, it did not agree with the government, the government's assessment that conditions are improving. The commission, the UN team, said that conditions are deteriorating, and it appears that the government is either unwilling or is incapable of improving conditions in the country. And I think that given that assessment, something has to be done in order to prevent the country from descending into the kind of chaos that may actually lead to genocide. So I don't really understand why anyone would think that an independent visiting team like the UN visiting team, as well as several civil society organizations in Burundi and interviews with people who are escaping Burundi into countries in the area, in the region, show that the situation is not improving. And so what I think the African Union should do is to proceed based on the powers given it by Article 4 of its charter, which says that the African Union can intervene when necessary if it has been determined that there are certain problems occurring in the country, for example, war crimes, genocide, crimes against humanity. And so the question that we should ask the African Union is how many more people have to be killed or forced to flee from Burundi before the AU can recognize that conditions granting it the right to intervene have actually been made. I think that something needs to be done. We can't just sit there and wait until genocide occurs in Burundi before the AU can take action to remedy the situation.
Well, Professor John Bakun, thank you very much for joining us on Network Africa. Well, still to come on Network Africa, we debut our monthly segment of Extraordinary Women featuring Kasandu Nwokolo, the creator of Cradle Count.